Welcome to Majestic Mayhem. I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Pickles.
And how's everyone's week going? How was your week?
Well, things were good until yesterday, into today. We had, okay, I know we talk a lot about the weather because we're adults, right? This is what you do. You talk about the weather, whatever. I don't mind the cold. I know you don't like cold. I don't mind it because sweatshirts, jackets, whatever. I'm good. I hate the snow so much. I hate everything about it because the ground gets slushy and wet. And even when it dries off, now everything's coated in salt. Parking lots are smaller because there's giant piles of snow. Just hate everything about it. So yesterday we had, I don't even know how much snow we got, only two inches or so. Then we got a half an inch of ice. Then we got rain. So it did make it up to 40 today, but it's still raining right now. And of course the wind's picking up. So it was a downpour all day. I had to go out and I had to shovel, but I'm shoveling like just soaking wet snow, right? Because it soaked all this water in. But then there's so much water. Like I got up on my mailbox. Thank God I have a pair of boots because I stepped in like 4 inches of water. So now I gotta like shovel snow out on the road to try to come up with a little drainage channel to get some of this water away from the mailbox. Like, and then it's gonna get cold tonight. Now it's gonna be cold all week long. So everything's now gonna freeze. So the giant puddles of water in my driveway are gonna be just ice blocks. So which means I'm gonna be out there every day this week salting and trying to chip up ice. And then Thursday, we're supposed to get the biggest snowstorm of the season. Although they're saying we're only going to get 4 inches of snow, so I don't know. I hope we don't get more than a few inches, but yeah. So I'm just over it. It's February.
I cannot blame you. I've said before and I'll say it again. Part of my first, like I have a list of reasons I don't mess with snow. But like right at the top of that list is I don't want to shovel it like ever.
Yes.
I don't want to shovel it. I don't want to walk on it. I don't want to drive in it.
Yep.
I'm not interested because I am an adult now. If I were a child and never had to worry about those things, that'd be one thing.
Oh, snow was great when you were a kid.
I mean, oh, absolutely. I loved it as a child. I looked forward to when it would snow as a kid. I used to build snow forts. I mean, we used to go out and build elaborate snow forts in it. And it blows my mind now thinking back that my mom and, you know, my dad and my uncles and stuff, they would all come out and help us build these gigantic snow forts. Basically, we built like igloos in a way of snow. And I cannot believe they did that because they would shovel the drive. I mean, I guess it makes sense because you got to put the snow that you shovel out of the driveway somewhere. So they'd shovel it off the sidewalk or whatever. And that's the snow they would have used to build the forts. But still, it's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not shoveling a driveway and then turning around and building a fort for the next 2 hours. Or whatever it takes.
And it was horrible too because like last weekend I spent 2.5 hours shoveling because we had a bunch of snow and I have to shovel the house. Then I got to go to Perry's store and shovel the walkway, which at least that's just a small little walkway. That doesn't take much time at all, but it's just, you know, you're tired. You don't want to do it. Now it's like, I got to do one more thing. So then this weekend, it's like I can't catch a break. And the real kicker is I own a snowblower. It's just buried in the garage, so I don't have it available to use this season. So that's really why I'm hoping we don't get more than a couple inches of snow because it needs to be manageable for me to shovel.
You know what, though? I saw a video where this intelligent, brilliant man was using a flamethrower to get rid of the snow in his driveway. And first thought I had was like, oh, that's kind of smart. I mean, that's quick and it's probably like less work on your back because that's when oftentimes, believe it or not, shoveling snow is the highest chance you have of ever having a heart attack.
Yep.
More heart attacks occur while shoveling snow than while doing anything else. So it is hard on your body. My second thought was like, what happens when that water from that melted snow reaches the end of the driveway in the road? Like, would that create a problem with ice? I'm thinking that would create a problem with ice, because when snow melts down, it does turn to that like icy sludge stuff, especially when it
Well,
rehardens after it starts to melt. It turns into the gross.
well, I'm gonna find out tomorrow because our street turns. So we live on the outside of a pretty much a 90-degree bend. So the guy next to me,
Mhm.
I shoveled snow into a pile like right off the edge of my driveway to block all the water that's melting and coming like from that guy's house.
Mhm.
So I did make sure though that he kind of blocked his end. So now, and you could see in between our two houses, like I don't even know. There's got to be 6 inches of water, like, and I was like, okay, I didn't completely stop it because it's
Mhm.
like going through the snow. It's like
Yeah.
slipping through, but at least I slowed it down. But then it like stops by my mailbox. So here, like I said, here I am digging out by my mailbox, but because they don't plow within like 10 feet of my driveway, it kills me. So I've had snow by my mailbox for, I don't know, 3 weeks now. So it's like impossible to shovel because I drive over it, so that way I know the mail truck can drive over it and still deliver my mail. Like, I'm just, yeah, I'm done. And like I said, I know I'm going to be out there assaulting and trying to chip up ice all week until I get snow on Thursday. And uh,
Oh.
but other than that, okay, Valentine's Day. Now I posted a photo on my Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, Harry knows the way to get to my heart. He got me. It's a tape measure, but it's also a laser measurer. So I can do laser measuring and it'll
Nice.
do calculations so I can like measure the volume of something. I don't know what I'm going to measure the volume of, but trust me, I'm going to find something just for fun. Just
I
because I
like
can.
that. I like
Yeah.
that. That's amazing. That's too funny. That's great.
I
I
just
You
love
know
it
what?
because you see all these people and they're like, oh, I got jewelry, I got this, I got that. And I'm like, hell yeah, I got this kick ass tape measure.
I got a tool set. Check
Yeah, but
me out. No, I
I'm
understand
pumped.
entirely. I get it. I've been the same way. I've done that before. I've
Yep.
gotten one actually for our first anniversary. Dreadpool got me a vacuum. And people were like you're not supposed to do stuff like that, da, da, da. And I'm like, no, I told him that is exactly what I
Yeah.
wanted, because I wanted a particular one. I wanted something, and I didn't want to go into the store and get it myself.
Yeah.
Ta-da! It works. I mean, my mom got me a tool set one time, a
Yeah.
full tool set, and I was so happy. That was the best Christmas ever, and I used that thing for ages. I wish I still had the tool set.
That's the thing
Unfortunately,
too,
I
you
have
use
brothers.
these things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You
He
use
got
them.
me one year for Christmas, he got me a hand truck. But not only is it a hand truck, the bottom like pops off so you can lay it down so you've got wheels on both sides so it like you can like cart a bunch of stuff on it. I use that thing all the time and everyone's like, "Oh, what are you going to move?" And I'm like, "What am I not going to move?" You don't know how many things you need to move around that are heavy until you have a hand truck or something that makes it easy to move.
Mm.
My family has borrowed it from me. Last summer, I had to put new wheels on it because I finally blew the wheels out. But this thing's like 10 years old. One of the best gifts he ever got me. It was great.
It's always nice when someone pays attention to the things you're asking for.
See, I didn't even ask for it. He just knew I would like it. Especially like, okay, the laser measurer. I have just a little standalone laser measurer, and he was with me when I went on the hunt for it, and I like had to have it. So he knows how much I like it. So that's why he found like a combo one, which is good because not everything is really suitable for laser measuring. But
I get it. As you're sitting there, as you're telling me about it, I'm like, first thing that popped in my head is, I don't have one of those, but that would be. Do you know how much time that thing would probably save me? I would be the psycho one, taking that into theme parks, into other haunted trails and stuff, because I see things when I go to haunted trails. I'm always looking for the next thing to build.
Yep.
Essentially, I'm going to have a great time, obviously, but like I'm that person. Obviously, you see the videos. I'm spending my time like looking around. They jump
Yep.
out and scare me. I'm like, oh yeah, ah, laugh. Okay, now back to focusing. I like
Yeah.
that thing right there. How can I build this? And I've asked people like, how do you do this? How do you? Because we talk to the people that build them and that run them and things. So I'm always asking, okay, how'd you do this, this, and this? I
Hmm.
need to know these answers because I want to. I may not be able to get to it anytime soon, but I'm gonna try it eventually.
Yeah.
And I've had to figure out how big things are for size. Something that could tell me that without me having to put too much thought into it would
Yep.
be amazing.
And the
So
laser
I love
measure
it.
is nice because now you can take measurements by yourself. Like, I'm not trying to
Helpful,
measure out to fit
super
my
helpful.
desk. I got to
Yeah.
measure a room. You're not measuring a room by yourself, right? You need the other person to hold other end of the tape. I don't want to deal with that. No, I just want to do it. So yeah, you get the laser measure. It's
Or
perfect.
getting a giant piece of wood that you need to cut down to several small pieces.
Yeah.
I usually, you measure, you're supposed to always measure twice before you cut. I end up measuring like 5 or 6 times because I'm like, did I make it all the way down? Did I mark everything correctly? Did it move at all? Because I had to let it go so I could do this. It's so much easier on my end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look into that. So
Yes, you
you can
should.
tell Perry I thank him for that one
Yes.
too. He did very good, sir. Very good. Bravo. Bravo.
So how was your week?
Uh, it's been busy and eventful. Obviously, Valentine's Day was Friday. For whatever reason, the child had off. So luckily, for our Valentine's Day date, we did a family thing. We went to a haunted trail, which, as the
Nice.
world knows, is my favorite thing to do.
Yes.
So, of course, Dreadpool, like one Valentine's Day for me. He's my kind of crazy and weird,
Yeah.
so it worked. So I had way too much fun doing that. Um, and then yesterday was pretty much relaxed. I got to get rid of my kid for a little while. She stayed the night at her friend's, so that was nice. Got to spend total time with
Good.
Dreadpool. And then today's our anniversary.
Yes. Well, happy
So thank
anniversary.
you. Yeah, we've been married 12 years now.
Nice.
Together 14, almost 15 years.
Almost 14.
Almost 14? You sure about that?
Yes.
I think his math's off. So,
Dated
but.
a year, engaged for a year, married.
Huh?
Dated a year,
Yeah.
engaged for a year,
Yeah.
married.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, that's what I said. 14. He's correcting me. He would know. He's the one when we first got together, we celebrated month anniversaries. And we celebrated
Some of
our.
those people.
Yeah, he is one of those people. It threw me off because
Oh.
I wasn't one of those people. And well, I barely ever made it to an anniversary. So why was I going to celebrate them?
I like celebrating things though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really sweet. It was very sweet. And believe it or not, I hear a lot of times where like guys do things like that. The girls always like, oh, he did it for a year. Mine did it for a couple of years. After we got married, he stopped doing it on our monthly anniversary and he started doing it on our wedding anniversary.
Okay.
And then, yeah, now we just celebrate yearly anniversaries.
See,
It's a lot now.
I get it. I love celebrating things. And I told Perry, we got married 5 days after my birthday. So before we got married, I said, I'm letting you know my birthday and our anniversary are two separate events and they get two separate cakes. I don't need gifts. I need cake. That's what
I,
I let him know. Like, don't think we're doing a combo. Nope, two things, two cakes.
I get it. Dreadpool's the same way. Actually, believe it or not, his birthday's in 3 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do Valentine's Day, our wedding anniversary, and then his birthday a few days later. It's the easiest way to remember, because I never really remembered Valentine's Day before that. In fact, I did not realize how close I had decided to get married to Valentine's Day, because it was the farthest thing from my mind when booking things.
Yeah.
You just listen, at that point in time, for whatever reason, people were insane and you had to book things like years in advance. And yeah, so you're not always thinking of necessarily of dates, because first I tried to book things on our actual anniversary, and when that didn't quite work out, it was like, okay, well, I'll go for the next best thing. Let me go a few months. And I'm still shocked I was able to book things that close to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Well, it is. When they give you openings, you only have a few dates to pick from. That you're not necessarily thinking about every other date in the world. You just think like, oh, okay, this is the right month. This is close enough to the month I want. This I'm going for.
Pretty much. It's like, I need to get this going. I need to get this. I had fun somewhat during the wedding planning process, but I did not enjoy the stress in the added drama. I like planning parties for the most part. I'm big into planning theme parties. I always have a theme for my parties. I find it easier to plan an event around a theme. I don't care what the theme is, but I have to have a theme. So the wedding planning wasn't necessarily a problem. It was dealing with my mother-in-law, my mother, aunts, grandmas. It's because everyone has opinions, and then you've got friends that want to give you helpful tips, and of course there's always someone from a hall or a supplier for the event that has a helpful tip to add. I mean, I had one woman that was booking the hall, and she insisted on giving me florist tips on what I should not do for bouquets and centerpieces and everything else. And that was about a half-hour conversation I could have lived my entire life without ever having.
Yeah.
Because I didn't take any of her advice anyway, nor did I care about it. So, nor did it really make sense to me personally. But hey,
Whenever people are getting married, I always tell people, I'm going to give you the single best piece of advice you're ever going to get. And then after I know they're thinking like, oh God, here we go. Then after I say it, they always tell me, oh my God, you're right. My piece of advice is your wedding day is about you and your spouse. Do whatever you want. Everyone else is going to pressure you to do things. Who cares? It's not their wedding. You do whatever you want to do, because like you said, this flower lady probably thought she was giving you good tips, but she has no clue what's important to you.
No.
You're going to do whatever you want to do because it's your day. Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much it. I always tell people, like, it's about you and what you want. And then that's how I felt while planning the wedding is, I did do whatever I wanted, which was great because I married the perfect person for it. I would ask him for help, for an opinion, and his response is, to this day, I still get the same response from this man for most things. Whatever makes you happy, dear. Whatever you want, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. If you like it, I love it. Have at it. So I got the last choice on, I get to make the decision on everything. So no, I didn't always take their advice, but you can't tell your mom, take the advice and shove it. I don't want to hear it, ma'am. No, you sit there and smile, and you're like, okay, I'll think about it. I'll think about it, and I'll let you know.
You sit there and smile and do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. So I just hate dealing with that. I don't like everybody. True. I mean, it's like it is the same way whenever a woman gets pregnant and has a child. Everyone has advice on what she should do while she's pregnant. Once that kid comes, I promise you, everyone has a piece of it parenting advice. Well, and it's always unsolicited parenting advice. Well, I did this and I did that. And I've never really listened to much of that anyway. because I know a lot of these people's kids, and I'm not interested. So I mean,
You're
thank
like,
you, but
you're
that
like,
was
okay, so I'm gonna do the opposite of that. That obviously did not work.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there are some things in life you should not be giving other people advice for.
Yeah,
There are
I hear
times
you.
when you need to look at your lifestyle and go, you know, I should probably shut up,
Yep, I'm just gonna sit in the back.
because any normal person would think this should be an episode of Jerry Springer. Like, this would be the entire episode of Jerry.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have a thought process out loud. I shouldn't say these things out loud. But they do. They always
yeah.
have the audacity.
Those are the people who love to give
There's
advice. Okay, so you said that you married the perfect man and he still tells you whatever you want to do. Well,
He's perfect for me. He's
I'm
perfect
sorry.
for me.
I hope he's listening because I'm sorry, Dread, that I'm the one who has to break this news to you. Death Dealer's leaving you. And Selena Gomez, because I know that you're watching us right now. Sorry, Death Dealer's coming for your man. Did you see what he did for her for Valentine's Day?
I did hear about that.
Okay.
A tub.
Yes. So okay. So hopefully I hope it's gonna come right over my face. I prepared ahead of time. So here's the first picture. This is the tortilla chips spelling out "I love you."
I love it.
Okay.
And you know those floors are clean enough to eat off of.
A bathtub full of nacho cheese.
Oh my god.
Sorry,
That's
Dreadpool.
amazing.
She's gone. She's going over to Benny Blanco's house.
You know what? I
whole
want to be Benny's
bathtub.
friend. Me and Benny, we need to be, buddy. We need to be friends. Like,
Yes.
I'll let Selena keep you because she deserves the happiness. Because I like the lady, but
I
you
do
know,
too.
I gotta say, anyone who can buy that much cheese and keep a straight face, we need to be friends, homie. I bet we'd have a
Yes.
great time. I bet we could throw an amazing party. We could throw a cheese themed party. We call it one cheesy night.
One cheesy night. I love it. So there's people who are like roasting him for it because they're like, oh, it's in the bathroom. That's gross. And on the surface, I say, yeah, that is gross. But I'm with you. That bathroom is cleaner than like anything any of us have ever set foot in. That's
Listen,
a clean
if they were
room.
broke people with only like 2 bathrooms in their house,
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's kind of nasty. Like, you should probably not do that. Like, I love my husband, but if he did that in my house, I'd be a little mad because how the hell am I getting that out of the tub?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
what else they said. They're like, oh, the poor person has to clean that. And I was just thinking,
Yeah.
I bet you that person's getting paid a ton
Oh,
of money.
yeah.
And if you pay me enough money, I'm cleaning nacho cheese out of your
Oh,
bathtub
yeah.
too.
No, that
Or
bathroom's
hell,
probably
they're
never
probably
been
getting a brand new
used.
bathtub.
Yeah, that bathroom's probably never been used.
Yeah.
You probably disconnected it from the main drain, so it's not going to drain out
Yep.
into the actual piping of the house. Like, I bet money was involved in this whole
Yes.
thing, and more than just him buying the cheese. I can guarantee you that. I promise you, that was probably a brand new bathtub that's never
Yeah.
been used. Flooring that's probably almost never been walked on.
Yeah.
It was probably bleached before they did it. And
And
let's be
two,
honest, what movie star worth that much money is eating food off the floor, regardless of whether it's clean or not? I bet
Yeah.
you they got some animals somewhere on the property they gave the food to. Like, get off your high horse.
Deadpool said Fred will do it for a $50 super chat. He'll clean it up.
Fred,
And
no.
And he said he's going to get right on it. I love you spelled with potatoes and a pool of nacho cheese.
Yeah. No, Fred.
I like a nacho cheese party at the shop. That would actually be, you know how they have like fondue where you can stick like pieces of bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just need like a nacho cheese fountain and you've got chips. I don't know what else you dip in a nacho cheese other than chips.
Oh,
Hot
everything.
dogs.
Dude, you can put
Everything. Yeah.
French fries and nacho cheese.
Okay, yeah,
is
French
like
fries. Yep.
And just about any time you get cheesy loaded fries, yeah, they've got nacho cheese on it. It may not be spicy nacho cheese, but I guarantee you it's nacho cheese.
Yeah.
And if it's not, that place is ghetto. Just call. I mean, I've ordered cheesy fries from a place before and been served French fries with shredded cheese on top, like melted shredded cheese on top, and it was interesting.
See, I'm not opposed
I'm
to
not
it
mad
because
at it, but it
I'm
was
not.
interesting.
Yeah, I feel like you got to call it two different things though, because like you need to know: are you getting liquid nacho cheese or are you getting shredded cheese? Same thing. If I buy nachos, I always ask the people: is this liquid cheese or is it shredded cheese? Because when I eat nachos, I want shredded cheese that's melted.
Mhm.
That's the cheese I prefer. But with you, if I have French fries, yeah, I think I want the liquidy cheese.
That's what
Huh.
everyone expects, and like I said, I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it, and it was. I mean, the place was a bit run down, so I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I didn't know it was a possibility. They were good. The food was amazing. Usually, the rundown restaurants have like the best food
Oh
because
yeah.
that's how they're still in business, looking, you know, as pathetic as they do.
Yep.
But
Fred would jump into a tub of jalapeno sauce for a $100 super chat. Is jalapeno sauce like spicy mayo? What the heck is jalapeno sauce? Like what consistency are we talking about?
jalapeno sauce is cheesy sauce with jalapeno oil
Oh,
in
okay.
it. It's usually got jalapeno oil in it. If that's the case, yeah, that sounds like that's horrifying. That would be painful. That'd be
You're gonna
so,
burn in places you didn't know could burn.
pretty much. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some people do have reactions to that stuff on their skin, so be interesting. So there's that.
Would be. I saw that photo though, and I you're the first person I thought of, and I was like, oh, she would be in heaven. Bathtub full of nacho cheese.
Yeah.
So I have news stories I've been saving up. So I have some more. I got one. Um, this is another food related story,
Mm-hmm.
and this is actually from Florida. Okay, the headline is Florida attorney arrested after allegedly going ballistic in the prime rib buffet line. This guy who's 52 years old.
So wait, let me give you the whole. There you go. This feels like it deserves a whole screen moment for it. I cannot wait. This is going to be ballistic, I'm sure. Let's
Yeah,
hear it. What did the psychos do now?
So this guy was in line at the carving station at a wedding at a Boca Lago Country Club. Okay, so this fancy wedding this guy is at, in line for the carving station. Two girls cut him. So this guy's 52. He confronts the man who allowed his daughter and another young girl to join him in line, and chaos ensued. The slimmer man, which I love that this is what the police report said, how they're identifying
I
people.
love how they're always just like really, they're really kind of savage in those
Yeah,
reports. Yeah,
yeah, they're throwing some shade on him.
yes, they are so shady with it. I'd be pissed
Yeah.
off too if I had to break up a fight with some. Oh God, yeah, nope. Continue.
The slimmer man ignored the man yelling at him and did not respond. Without provocation, the large, bald man struck the slimmer man on the head with a dinner plate. From there on, a melee began between a large number of the wedding guests. So, and an employee at the country club said that the he didn't refer to him as this, but the large bald man walked up to the man and hit him on the head with a plate after he ignored him. After he ignored him, she confirmed that the plate had shattered and that he pushed the victim and was holding him by the collar. And he
Oh,
denies, though. He denies that he hit the man on the head with the plate. But dude, there's a whole room full of witnesses. And he also said that the event was a dry party, so there was no alcohol served. So then the news article said, in other words, he was hangry and simply wanted his meat.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Can you imagine you spend all that time planning your wedding? You've got this nice country club, right? You're looking great in your dress. Your day is going great. And all of a sudden you hear a commotion and you look over and there's two dudes fighting at the prime rib station.
I'm gonna say something super controversial right now when it comes to planning for weddings. And for anyone that is planning a wedding, I want you to take this small piece of advice to heart. That's your fault. That is absolutely your fault. Okay. One, you can't be leaving people without food for long periods of time like that, especially around a dinner time. Like, you had to know that people were starving. Like, come on. The least you can do is have an hors d'oeuvre dish on the table, especially if you're doing like a calling tables by number type thing and you've got a large party going. You you can't do that. Okay. Second of all, I guarantee you that these feisty people did not all of a sudden become violent for the first time ever in their entire lives. I guarantee you they've showed their ass out in the open multiple times in front of you, or you've heard stories. Man,
well, I'm gonna say there's
anybody on like watch duty. I personally have been invited specifically to weddings only to keep two people in particular from fighting. Like, that was my entire job, was to keep mother-in-law away from this group over here, because mom-in-law happens to have a very slick mouth, and these people over here don't do well with that. So yeah, I had to run interference at weddings. I've done it for multiple. You mean to tell me you don't have a friend that's real good at calming people down or distracting people? It's like toddlers. You just distract them with something else. So here's something shiny, buddy. Come look at this.
Well, I'm going to say they probably had a dry wedding to try to prevent stuff like this. They probably thought, okay, we know these people. They get a few drinks in them. It's going to be rough. So they probably had a dry wedding, but I bet you they had a flask or they pre-gamed or something.
Yeah.
Or like you said, it's not alcohol related and these people are just assholes and they're going to fight no matter what.
I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong. And usually when you have a completely different people crammed into a small place like that, and you add in anything like uncomfortable clothing, hunger, alcohol, or even, drug use, anything goes. Anything goes. And you should always have at least one person ready to run interference, or if nothing else, designate them to deal with your problems. I had problems when we got married. We had problems at our wedding. Do you know when I heard about them? Later, after the fact. And it was more or less like a passing comment and a joke, like, oh, ha, ha, ha. And I went, what happened? Like, I didn't know that. I apologize. That's the point. You weren't supposed to know.
Yep.
You handle the problems.
Not only because the guy who okay, I get you're getting hungry. No one wants to be cut, but it's a wedding. Two people cut in front of you. Just get over it. Like, suck it up, okay?
Yeah.
Just and talk about him for the rest of the night. Who cares? Like, it's stupid.
There's
so the guy, and it was the guy's daughter and whoever the daughter was with. So it's not like he just let the whole place go in front of him, right? Mm-hmm. He did the right thing. He ignored the guy, but like, you're at a wedding. Who's like, I'm just gonna slam a plate over your head because you're not getting your prime rib now. now you don't get any. You could have gotten it 2 people later, but now you got no prime rib because the jail's not serving that to you. So you lost out. Yeah. But then, who are these other wedding guests? Because if I'm at a wedding and I see that happen, I'm not joining in. I'm not starting or joining a melee. Like, all these other people joined in and started fighting. So you have a whole wedding full of just crazies.
I mean, I've been a part of some wild weddings, and I've opted out of a few because it was going to be too much, and I knew I did not want to be within 100 miles of the wedding while it was going. Like, I'm sorry, you know when people aren't going to get along and things, and you should have some kind of interference, or at least hire a day of wedding planner to deal with things like that. Because if a fight does break out, I don't want to deal with it if we did a vow renewal next month, I'm not dealing with it at my vow renewal either. I've got too many parentals to handle it and too many siblings. Somebody else can deal with it. I've got plenty of people to do that. I'm not doing it.
Okay, so the guy is an attorney. Doesn't say what kind of attorney. Doesn't matter. Let's say you're in the market and you're hiring an attorney.
Okay.
So you Google search this guy because you want to find out, like, oh, what are people saying about him?
Mm-hmm.
You find this news article. Does it make you more or less likely to hire him as an attorney? Or does it have no effect at all on whether you want to hire this dude?
Depends what the article is.
Well, if you saw the article about he hit the head or he didn't get his
Oh,
prime
it's
rib, like,
him.
yeah, the dude
Oh,
who hit the
he's the
guy,
attorney.
he's an attorney.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I'm not hiring him.
Yeah, unless he's like the number one rated attorney in the whole country, I'd be
No,
like, "Ugh, that's the price I have to
I
pay."
guarantee he's not. He's
Well, oh yeah,
too
he's definitely
obviously.
not. But
He's extremely obviously. That tells me one, he's impulsive, and he acts on those impulsions. No, thank you. That is not something.
okay,
As someone who's had to hire a lawyer in the past, that is not something I'm looking forward to with my attorney. I do not want my attorney to be whimsical and flighty. I want my attorney to
okay.
be extremely thematical and to plan things out and to have like a checklist he has to go over.
What if you're suing somebody and you need like a bulldog attorney because you need to get the settlement and you need to get your money from the other person? Would you want to hire this guy?
No, he's still impulsive. He'll take the first batch they throw at him. I want somebody
Oh,
who's
no, see, I don't know because I feel
vengeful. No, I want someone who can sit on revenge for years on end. And that guy that cut him in line, instead of hitting him with a plate, I want the lawyer that instead of hitting with the plate is going to wait and wait and wait for this guy's wife to divorce him. Then I'm going to represent this guy's soon to be ex-wife and take him to the cleaners. That's the kind of attorney I want. I don't want an impulse. I want a cold, methodical.
And then when
Like,
you're done, you're gonna be like, "Do you remember? You remember the Smith wedding that we went to in 2025? You cut me, mofo."
exactly. I like there was a video of, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it was a skit from, I'm not sure what comedic show, and it was a guy, he was going on the news to discuss safe driving skills. He was a driving instructor,
Mhm.
and he was going on the show to discuss safe driving skills. And when it got to his segment and they sat down, the news anchor sat down with him to do the segment, he's like, do you remember that time you cut a guy off over on this, that, and the other, and you flipped them off or you honked your horn or something? And he's like, yeah, I remember that day, so I waited. And imagine if he became a driving instructor and bided his time and became one of the best driving instructors in the area, to get invited to the news channel to do an interview. And imagine he comes on the interview to do that. How you liking them brownies, Gary? Are you enjoying them? Good. There's laxatives in it. That's the guy I want. That's the guy. That's the one that can represent me for anything. I don't care if it's a speeding ticket. That's the guy that can represent me because he's vengeful, he has patience, and he has plans. That's the guy I want to
I
hang
like
out
it.
with. He's got plans on plans on plans. Revenge is awesome, especially when you make it an excellent story. Like, it's got to be a good story.
So
That's
one of the award shows that just happened, and I don't even remember who the actor was. But I watched. It was like a little 30-second clip. The lady like goes to say hi to him. The interviewer lady,
mm-hmm.
and she was like, "Oh, repping, John City High School or whatever school they went to."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, because they went to high school together. And then the actor was like, "Yeah, I remember you. You used to call me a loser or something like that." So she's like, "No, I didn't." He's like, "Yeah, you used to make fun of me." And I'm like, how good must this feel right now that you got to call this lady out and you're the actor and she's trying to interview you and you're like, "Yeah, you were a jerk to me."
Listen, I have been that petty. I mean, I won't think of you for the rest of my life, but you best believe if I have the opportunity to rub your face in it years later,
Yeah.
I absolutely do. I've done it on a couple of occasions, and there is no better feeling than a long-term revenge plan. And
Yeah.
the pettiness is just amazing. Just
Oh, MILF Man said it was Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, so
I heard about that. Yeah, she asked him for an autograph, and he's like, "You used to make fun of me back in the day." Yeah, he told her,
she
he's like,
tried.
basically,
She
"What
was like,
then?"
"No, I did it." He was like, "Yes, you did." Like she was trying to play it off like she did it, and it's
I
like,
do remember that because that was funny. That I mean, he not only is he good looking, but he's petty too. Bravo, my guy. That kind of guy right there.
the only thing wrong with him is we didn't see any photos of his Valentine's Day plans with tubs of nacho cheese. So dock him a few points for that one.
I've never seen him post about cheese, so yeah, he gets points
Yeah,
docked for that. Yeah, but
not
no, I
everyone can
love
be
the petty long
perfect.
game. I love the petty long game. Nothing better.
Yeah,
I mean, please, especially if you get the opportunity to tell them to kick rocks. That's the best. And it's not even that you're being mean. You're just saying, I don't wanna. I'm not
yeah,
interested. Have fun anywhere else but here. Anywhere else. That's like the best part. It's chef's kiss. Yeah.
yes. Okay, so the next article I have is Perry actually sent this one to me because he knew I was gonna love it. Okay. So, okay, part of this is a little bit sad, but I hope you can all see the humor in it.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking this lady does because she's putting it all over the internet. Um, so this girl, um, spent the whole day with her mom, and she didn't hear from her. So she sends her a text message saying, "Did you make it home alive? LOL." Right? Her mom didn't reply to her. She thought nothing of it. What she didn't realize, so she had texted her mom, "Did you
Mhm.
make it home alive? LOL." Her mom totally didn't. Her mom, this is horrible. I shouldn't laugh. Her mom was totally dead in the car out in front of the house. She had she had a heart attack in front of her house and died. So
Oh
here's
my
can you
god.
so like in her husband's in the house, so the girl's dad is in the house. He had no clue that she was out there. But I'm like, can you imagine that, like, right? Because even though it's obviously natural causes, the cops got to look into it and make sure they know it's natural causes. Can you imagine that you're checking what's the phone with some messages? Did you make it home alive?
I mean, that would absolutely be something that would happen to me. Except
Yeah,
they would have died under suspicious circumstances, and that would be the time they would come knocking on the door. Oh my god, I mean, that's not for nothing, but I had to deal with a family member on life support a few months back, and I hadn't talked to this family member in a while. So when I was told, "Oh, they're at the hospital, you should probably come down here," I jokingly said, "Why? What's happening? Are they dying?"
but
I
I'm
mean,
gonna laugh for
like,
this.
I figured, I mean, not for nothing, I was right. The only way they would see me again is while they were dying. So I
Yeah,
wasn't far off, but it was one of those. I should not have said it to that particular. It would have been fine if it had been one of my siblings, but it
yeah.
wasn't. It's tongue in cheek to say it to the wrong person. So
They
yeah,
probably should have led with that though, right? That's the sort of thing that you're like, oh, Jim Bob is dying. You might want to go to the hospital to go see him,
I mean, not for
right?
nothing, but like, I don't know why that would even be the first. You should probably come down here. Yeah, I would probably just say, yeah, like, you
Yeah,
might need to make some choices, so you should probably drive on out. Not, hey, you haven't talked to this person in ages, so but they're in the hospital.
yeah.
What's that got to do with me? What's that got? Little did I know.
I'm just glad this girl, though, like I said, she seems to have a sense of humor about it because she put it on TikTok. She made a story about it. But can you imagine, too, knowing that that's the last text message you sent?
Yeah. Oh no, it's
And
going to
I,
be. It's going to be because I usually end up texting one of my moms. If she doesn't respond within a certain amount of time, the first thing I send afterwards isn't a follow up text like, "Is everything okay?" It's, "Are you still alive?" Not, "Are you
the,
sleeping?" "Are you still breathing? Are you alive?" I'm definitely, that is absolutely going to happen to
yep.
me.
See, I get it.
Absolutely.
My best friend, I'll text her and I say, I hope your dead body's not on the floor with the cats eating it.
You're not
Yeah.
dead, are you?
Yeah, that's pretty much. And she does the same thing to me too. Like and it's never just a normal, are you dead? It's always, like, are the pets eating your dead body? Like,
Are you
oh
stinking
yeah.
up the house and we need to
Yeah.
know about this? Do I need to hire a company for you?
Yeah, does the
Yeah.
hazmat team have to come, or is this just the medical examiner situation?
Yeah, I honestly I foresee this sort of thing happening more often with millennials and Gen X in
Yeah.
charge now. I see this story happening and becoming more and more frequent. Eventually, it's going to be like an urban legend to
Yeah.
the kids of tomorrow.
They're it's only a matter of time before they make a horror movie about this, right? Like with Scream, and they call the call's coming from inside the house. Well, people aren't calling. People don't even have house phones anymore. And yeah, you're gonna see like the person's dead in the car or dead wherever, and you're gonna see their phone flash on the floor. Are you dead?
My niece, a while back, had watched Scream for the first time. She watched the original Scream. And I asked her, "What'd you think of it?" And she goes, "It was good." She goes, "But I have some questions." And I was like, "Okay." Now she knows what a landline is,
Hmm.
but she's a teenager, so she wasn't alive for caller IDs being separated from the phone and all of that. So she's asking me all kinds of questions like, what was that about? And, what's this star 69 thing? And da da da. And I'm like, oh, sweet summer child.
Isn't that crazy that a whole like people that you really would just answer the phone. The phone would ring and you had no clue who it was. And you would answer the phone. You would run across the house to make sure you picked up that phone. And you would just be like, hello. And you had no
I
clue.
still
Now,
remember getting caller ID for the first time and
yeah.
thinking that was the best thing ever, and Star 67 becoming popular because of it.
Yep.
That was, God.
I
Those
mean, an
things
answering machine
huge.
with the little itty bitty tape that went in it, the little tiny cassette tape, and yet, it would fill up and you had to flip it over, and then eventually you'd overwrite it. And you got to call your friend's house and their dad answers, and their dad, like, trying to be funny and telling you dad jokes. And you're just like, oh, God, this is horrible. I just want to talk to my friend.
Oh, the embarrassment of just calling a general, or you tell them like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call and let it ring twice, and I'm gonna hang up
Yes.
and I'm gonna call right back, and then you need to answer it, okay? Yeah, those good times.
Yeah.
Or I'll call you after they go to bed, so I can sneak the phone. Meanwhile, you got like a 400-foot cord running through the house. Yeah, that's inconspicuous. Totally. You would never notice that thing anywhere.
See, what I was not alive for, and people have told me how it works, and it makes no sense to me, are party lines. That your
We were
whole
alive for them. They still had party lines. They had party lines for years when we were kids.
really no, we
Mhm.
didn't. No, we didn't have them.
No, you had no. What you did for us, for our generation, you had to dial your phone number into your phone, and then it would ring a couple of times or whatever. But you would let it ring like at
Yeah.
least twice, and then you would hang up, and it would call back, and
Yes.
that was a party line. It would put you through to
Okay.
other people that were.
Well,
You
when they
didn't have a
had
choice, but it would put you on the line with X amount of people or whatever.
Well, when they okay, so I remember that because we used to when we go to my grandma's house for holidays, we would go. She had a phone in her bedroom, and we would go in the bedroom, and we would make the phone ring. So then she'd be in the kitchen, she'd answer the phone, and we. Yeah, eventually they told us like, don't ever do that again, stop, because they just got annoyed. But like
Yeah,
a true party line though, but like there was one phone number for your whole street,
mm-hmm.
and it had to do with how many times the phone rang. So like the first house you pick it up on the first ring, but I don't understand because how do you know it's not going to keep ringing? Like this is what I don't really get. But like it rings twice, and the second house could pick it up. But you could have like the whole street could pick up the freaking phone. It just so weird to
According
me. I don't.
according to what my grandmother said, you basically, it was just you'd answer the phone and it's not for me. Okay, sorry, go ahead and do that again. And then they'd go ahead and call back, and it would just continue doing that until they eventually got to the house they were trying to call.
I guess that's when you really better hope that you tell somebody, I'm calling you at 2:00, so that you hope that house answers the phone at 2,
Oh, yeah,
and you don't
no.
deal with like 10 other neighbors answering.
Oh, yeah, no, at one point in time, it was considered rude to call after a certain time.
Mhm.
You did not call people's houses after 6:00 or something. So if you were going to call them, they had to know, because
Yeah.
people were a lot bit different back then. It's just like you didn't stop by anybody's house without calling and letting them know. Where it was something you had to plan out like a week in advance usually.
Oh, see, I would just watch a clip from a stand-up comic, and he was like, my mom used to have like, like an Edmund's coffee cake on hand, because he's like, people would just stop by your house. You wouldn't know, and they would just come ring the doorbell. They would just pop in to say hello, and you'd invite them in, and oh, here we have a coffee cake we could serve you. And I was like, wow, that is true. Like a lot of times you have to plan out ahead of time. You got to make sure the person's going to be there. But you're just in the neighborhood and you stop by. I can't imagine I'm not in anyone's neighborhood ever, right? Like I don't know how you're just in the neighborhood, but you would just, I can't imagine just stopping by someone's house to be like, oh, I was around the corner, wanted to say hello. No.
No, I mean, I've done it in the past if I'm like, further away from my house and it's a trek to get over to see that person. Then, yeah, I might be like, hey, I just so happen to be right here. Why don't we hang out? Otherwise, no, I don't really.
Yeah, but would you just go knock on their door? Would you call them? Or
I
would you
would,
just go show up at their house and ring the doorbell and be like, "Hey, I'm here. Are you free to hang out?"
it's kind of I usually call people.
Yeah.
Even if I'm already on the way to their house, I'll call them and say, "Hey, I'm stopping by." So, but that also partially is because certain people, I don't knock on their front door. I just walk in. It's not because I'm being rude. It's just because, listen, I've been to their house so long. I've known them for so long. I call them parents. I just walk in.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I had to laugh. I had brought another friend with me over to go visit a good friend of mine, and she's standing there. She'd gone up to the door before I'd gotten there, and she's standing there and she's knocking, and I'm laughing, and I started laughing, and I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I was knocking." And I was like, "Bitch, we don't do that here. Just walk in." Like, do you really expect her to get up, come over to the door, and let you in? Like, no, she knows we're coming. Trust me. Go in. Besides, all you're doing is making the dog bark. Like, it's inconvenient at times.
I will go to my parents sometimes and just walk in. Although I tend to call them at least so they have an idea that I'm coming over, because terrified I'm going to see something I don't want to see. Probably not, because my parents are old. I'm just going to tell myself that, but that's the last thing I need. Like,
well, like I said,
you're sitting around your underwear. I don't want to walk in your house. Sorry.
Yeah, I always call beforehand so they know I'm coming. I don't just walk into people's houses without them. No, I let them know I'm coming over. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm telling you, and you're a real good friend of mine, if I'm telling you that I'll be there in like 5 minutes, that's pretty much a guarantee that I'm not knocking on the door, because one, most of my friends have large dogs. They tend to jump on you when they get excited.
Yeah.
Even though they're trained not to. I seem to be the one. They're like, yeah, most of these rules go out the window with you. They think they're lap dogs. I have a pit that weighs over 50 pounds that likes to try and climb on my shoulders. No, I'm not knocking for that. That dog's going to lose its shit when I get in anyway. So I'm not knocking so it can start barking and be at the door as soon as I walk in to jump on me. No, thank you. So I'm calling you like 5 minutes beforehand to say, hey, I'll be there in a minute.
Okay, so you said you don't just randomly walk in people's houses. I think about this happened probably 20 years ago, and I still think about it and laugh. Okay. My door is locked all the time. You're not walking inside my house because my front door is always locked. I have family who live in the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as a little kid, we went to somebody's house, and the house, I call it the underground house. Their house is built in the side of a hill. So there's 4 sides to a house.
Mm-hmm.
One side of their house is exposed. The other 3 sides are underground because their house is in a hill.
Mm-hmm.
So we were going to a party at somebody's house at a big pond party, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my aunt goes, "Oh, well, we'll go check out the underground house." And I said, "Okay." We go over to these people's house. They're not home because they're at the party we're going to. We walked in their house.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt gave us a tour of their house.
Mm-hmm.
Then we left.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the party, and she tells the lady, like, "Oh, hey, we were just at your house." And the lady goes, "Oh, did you put a load of laundry in?" Like, she didn't care. And I was just thinking, this is like the weirdest thing ever. That we know you weren't home because we know where you are. Your house is unlocked. We took a tour, and you don't even care. You think it's funny. I couldn't believe it. I was like, no way. This is weird. But I guess what happens when you live in the middle of nowhere. I guess these things is just what you do. But
story time. I did this to my adopted mother tonight, as a matter of fact. I told her earlier in the day I'd be stopping by at some point. I didn't tell her when I'd be stopping by. I just said, I'll stop by at some point. She said, okay, just, come on in, whatever. Okay, no problem. Well, I was on the road and I had sent her a message. Hey, I'm on my way over now. And I didn't hear back from her right away. So I just figured, oh, she's probably not next to her phone, whatever the case may be. She could be in the bathroom, whatever. She knows I'm already on my way, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I get there and just walked in. She's sleeping, out cold, just done. And of course, I'm standing there. I see her. I freeze like I'm like, dog sees me. Dog's like, hey. Dog loves me. I love that dog. Dog's like, what's up, friend? You're here. He's all excited to see me. And I'm like, okay, let me just slowly back out. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just grab the candy out of my purse. So I'm not in there ruffling around looking for things in the house. So I grabbed the candy out of my purse, go set it back down in the house. I opened the door back up, walked back in, set it down, looked at her again to make sure I didn't wake her up, then walked back out. And she messaged me later and she goes, did you come by? Well, yeah, I came by and she goes, I was wondering where the candy came from. But I went, yeah, that was me. You were sleeping and I figured I'm gonna lay that be and walk back out. And she's like, oh, okay. She's like, I didn't know where it came from. And no problem. Was she upset that I walked in the house when she was sleeping? No. I could have done absolutely anything. And she tells me regularly to go in the house when she's not there. So it's not that weird to me. People tell me I have people's house keys in case something happens.
But see, that's like this house we went to, like none of us were related. It was just they were friends. My aunt was friends with these people. And like I said, we just toured their house. Like, much as I love my best friend, if she just brought somebody to my house and gave him a tour, I'd be like, what the hell is wrong with you? What?
It wouldn't be that strange to me. I'd probably be more flattered than anything. Like, oh, my house is nice enough for you to show random people to. Like, cool, good for me. I mean, chances are, if you're in my house and knowing where I'm at and things and knowing you can get in and everything, I trust you with whatever. So I'm not concerned. It's not a big deal for me.
That's small town living. You live in the middle of nowhere. And not that we certainly don't live in a big city. We live in the suburbs. But yeah, we live in a place where you lock your door. I mean, really, there's been days that I'll get up and Perry, in the middle of the night, when he's going to bed, he's like, you forgot to lock the door. So we haven't had problems, but still, you never know. I can't, we don't live in
I mean, I lock my doors all the time. As soon as I walk in, the first thing I do is lock my front door. I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know. I've told people when they're on their way, okay, you're on your way here, I'll unlock the door. Just let yourself in, Because,
I also don't invite anyone over to my house, so. I don't have to clean. Then you're going to come over, I got to clean, I got to entertain you.
No, you're thinking all wrong. I stopped that ages ago. My best friend and I had a good laugh about that one night drinking wine. And yeah, that was pretty much the end of me worried about my house being pristine for someone to come walking through. As long as I got at least pants on, I don't care. My house can look like hell.
I didn't say it had to be pristine, but I don't want to be embarrassed.
You can't embarrass me. I've told my friends for years. My friend every once in a while when I'd go over, I've known her for years, and I'd go over to her house and she'd say, "I'm so sorry, my house is such a mess. You'll have to excuse it." I'm like, "Bitch, I didn't come here to see your house. I came here to see you. Sweetheart, if you think I care if the house is clean or not, you're sadly mistaken on my objective in life. I'm more concerned with, are you happy? Are you okay? Good. Well, then, like, as long as you're not living in absolute pure filth, we're good to go."
Yeah.
Like, doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all.
I don't live in filth, but you're definitely not eating any food out of my bathtub.
Yeah, you're not eating out of mine either, but I started telling people my house isn't clean. If that's an issue for you, you're more than welcome to walk back out.
Yeah, don't come over.
You're here to see me. Don't expect there to not be toys or clothes or something on the floor, because my kid lives here.
Well, it is the few people that do come to my house, they know, like, this is the level of cleanliness you're gonna get, and you're just gonna accept it. It is what it is.
I mean, I usually have a nice pile of t-shirts around my house, because Dreadpool likes to take his shirt off first thing when he walks in the door, or as soon as he's done with the stream, he just strips his shirt off. So I've got shirts in random places in my house. I gave up ages ago trying to get him to put stuff in the dirty laundry hamper. It's like, as long as he makes his work clothes in that direction, we're fine.
Yeah.
Everything else is fair game because it doesn't bother me. But every once in a while, he'll get into insulation or something at work, and it just and I have an allergy to something, so it breaks my hands out. No, thank you.
See, so Doof said his house is fairly clean minus the cat fur, because he's got 4 orange cats.
Nice.
I obviously don't have a lot of cat fur because I only have 1 fluffy cat. The other 2 are naked. But I do have pets, and I have the pig. So yeah, not that it's dirty from the pets, but it's definitely like, that's like the main thing. Well, obviously someone's coming over, first thing I'm gonna do is make sure the bathroom's clean. Like, that's like the number one. But I make sure it's clean where the pets are, and just, sweep a little bit.
Let me ask you something about the cats, because Dreadpool keeps trying to talk me into getting a cat again. I'm not really about getting another cat. I've had a few, and that I'm a dog person. I like dogs. Mm-hmm. My dog is my dog. I love that dog. He says, though, he's entertained the thought of getting a hairless cat because his selling point is, well, it won't leave fur all over the house. We all know that's now a lie. Apparently, hairless cats, some of them do grow fur, even though they're supposed to be hairless, but some do grow fur. My question is, I feel like the person that I knew that had one said it was more difficult to take care of a naked cat than a cat with fur, because you have to clean them because they do not clean themselves. Is that true?
Okay, so it depends on the cat, and it's like a big I have two of them new. I have 2 of them. Naked cats are definitely more work than fluffy cats. So there's a big thing. Some people like bathe them every week. Some people don't. They're basically wet wipes. It's like they're wet wipes for pets, and I just buy the unscented ones because I don't know if they're sensitive or not. And I wipe them down with the wet wipes is what I do. So like I said, it depends. Some people do a lot of grooming. Some people don't do a lot of grooming. I think it depends on your cat and how much, because you can tell, like, when you go to pet them, like, okay, you're getting a lot of oil buildup. I gotta clean you off. But you don't want to over clean them because then they don't make the oils. But they definitely are more work than a regular cat. They have a lot more energy. They eat more, which means they poop more. So you're scooping cat litter more than you normally would. I'm getting a cat wheel at some point because I need them to burn off some of this excess energy. And they just want to be with you all the time. Like I sit when I'm upstairs watching TV, I sit there, the blanket on my lap with the two little cats, and they just so it's not a problem to me that they want to cuddle. I get upset when they don't want to cuddle with me. But sometimes it's annoying because sometimes it's like, oh, please just leave me alone. Please, can you just stop? Can you just like lay there for a minute?
They just feel weird. I mean, they just petting them feels weird. It's strange to me.
So
Like I said, my friend has one, and it was just weird. The cat was cool. Don't get me wrong. The cat itself, the cat was cool. Cats, for the most part, are pretty chill. So for the most part, most cats are cool. It was just weird because she's telling
they
me
are,
she has to clean this thing, and then she's telling me she has to clean in between its toes
yep.
like every day because it would get stuff trapped in its toe. I guess something the cat liked to dig or something, but the cat would always get like
Oh,
the dirt things in
I'll say I
between
don't
its
clean between their
toes.
toes every day. They're in. We have pure indoor cats though. They don't go outside at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I genuinely don't know. It
but
was just strange to me because that when Dreadful approached me and said, "Well, what about a naked cat?" My first thought was, "I am not wiping in between something's toes on a daily basis. You got me confused for someone who's got time for these types of things." Like, I have a long-haired dog that does not need to be brushed for a reason.
yeah,
I,
they're so lovable though. But just see, like if you had a fluffy cat, you'd have to brush your cat. You can't never. I mean, you don't necessarily have to brush your cat every day, but you have to brush your cat.
well, that's why I'm very
You
particular
know.
about the breeds of dogs that I've owned over the
Yeah.
years. The only two dogs I ever had that actually had to be groomed on a regular basis were small dogs. And even then, I kind of cheated for the most part. Like, I had
Yeah.
a purebred Shih Tzu. I pretty much shaved her hair for the most part. So it was like, what exactly do I have to brush? As soon as
Yeah.
it gets long enough to need to be brushed again, just back to the groomers we go, you know?
Yeah.
Same thing with my Bichon. I had a Bichon once, and yeah, I shaved him because while his hair was so fuzzy and so cute and curly, it's a lot to brush every
Yeah.
day. I don't even want to brush my hair on a daily basis. I keep my hair super long so I don't have to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
My hair is down to, do you really think I keep my hair to my waistline because it's fun? No, I don't have to brush it very often because it's so long. It just holds its own weight and keeps it pretty good. And even when it does start to get knotted, I just put it in a bun, put a clip in it, and nobody knows. Well, I also wear my hair in a clip on a regular basis, so nobody knows. If you do something even when you don't need to, no one knows when you need to. Yeah, I'm not buying a pet that I have
So
to clean. That's just
okay.
seems
Yeah.
a bit much.
I mean, you
I
do
mean,
have to
I've
clean
washed my
them, but
dog.
like I said, it's not like every single day that you have to do it. Um, and they are just so lovable. So like we have the two of them, and I pick them up and I will carry both of them in my arm. I just have two cats and they just lay there all curled up, and it's just yeah.
Triple's in here. Okay, let me rephrase my comment. I do not wash my dog. Yes, I don't wash my own dog. I have a bad back. And years ago, when we got the dog, I did not do my best idea with timing. My dog is literally like a month and a half older than our daughter. I brought home a puppy right before giving birth, so I wasn't bending over to wash him back then either. So I've never had to wash my dog. Dreadpool washes my dog when I can break him down to finally get it done. because I usually have to tell him for like a couple of weeks to wash the dog.
Your dog or our dog?
Fine, our dog. He's being so obnoxious right now with this. If in case you guys were wondering, he was just standing in front of me doing all of this, which is why I was correct, because he wasn't going to leave until I corrected myself. God forbid.
Well, I am absolutely obsessed with my naked cats. I love them so much. I'm obsessed. Yeah, we will not be having any more fluffy cats after we still. I mean, like I said, we still have Meatloaf. Meatloaf is not going anywhere. She's our baby, but when that's our last fluffy cat we're getting. Does the dog wash Dreadpool?
He just called the dog away from me. Instead of a beach. No,
the dog washes Dreadpool's beard.
I mean, isn't that the worst idea I've ever heard? But he's pretty good about washing his own beard. I gotta say. Thank God for that one. It'd be really gross if he didn't.
Yeah. Noof is just on a roll.
I'm not even gonna say anything. I got
I'm
nothing.
not going there either.
I got nothing.
I'm not going there.
I got nothing. I prefer mine to have the 70s bush, but that's just me. I like an afro. I like hair. What can I say? Oh,
okay, so on that note, this is actually the perfect segue to the last news story I have. It actually is going to tie in. Okay, because Noof said,
you know what? I feel like this should be a full screen moment again.
A couple comments ago, Noof said, "I don't wash my wiener either." Right? So
wait. Oh,
and this is actually from this news story is from Canada. Okay, like I said, this is all going to tie in. You're going to see. This is from the end of January. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, no, go ahead. This is going to be great. I feel like this is another full screen moment.
Yep, the headline is, "Dude's junk freezes to the sidewalk during a drunken bar brawl in Canada." Yep, so it was on TMZ. There was video of this. The incident started with the man who was intoxicated getting into an argument with others inside the bar in Alberta. The argument ended up spilling outside where the guy's pants fell down. I don't understand how the guy's pants randomly fell down in the middle of a bar fight, but they did. And then the guy fell to the ground with his pants down, and the police were going to cuff him, and his junk froze to the ice. And TMZ posted this. There was a video of it, obviously a blurred video. But they posted it on their, who knew TMZ had a Facebook page, but they do. And a local commented on it and said, "The cops are the reason it stuck to the ground. They pressed him face down on the ice with his pants down and exposed to detain him." So I hope that yeah. Oh yeah, see, as I was going to say, I don't know where Noof's from, but yeah, he's from Alberta. So do you have a confession? Did you get into a bar brawl and have a little injury at the end of January you want to tell us about here?
I got questions, but I don't know if I want the answers to them, because my first question is, I don't know how to put this. Give me a second. I'm finding it. In order for things to usually stick to cold surfaces, unless it is like not exposed to any heat whatsoever, it usually has to be like damp or moist.
I'm gonna say because his body was warm when he got pressed into the ice, did it just heat up the ice slightly enough to make it freeze? I don't know. Because I said, how did his pants fall down? Did the guy was drunk? Did he pull them down and start pissing or something? I don't know.
Now, if he was peeing on people, that should definitely be a part of the story, because, I mean, that would just make it funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to lie. I don't even know how you could fight somebody that pulls it out and starts peeing in your general like, I don't understand you could be mad, but how are you supposed to fight that? Like, dude's peeing.
I mean, I don't know, because I don't know how else would it have
I'd be
frozen.
horrified.
I don't really get how else it froze. So I'm just thinking maybe he pissed himself. He was drunk in a fight.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. It's just weird. The whole thing's strange.
Okay, so when I was in college, my freshman year was the last year they hosted homecoming. It got banned. Okay? Things got so out of control, they banned homecoming. Like this used to make David Letterman's top 10 places to party and stuff. So it's the end of the night. A lot of crazy things happened that day. It's actually, this may have been, I think about this was freshman year. Yeah. People were throwing just bottles in the street, right? So the whole streets are just covered in broken glass, right? Everyone's in front yards because this school, instead of living in dorms, pretty much the school plus private landlords, an entire neighborhood was student housing. Okay, so we're all in this neighborhood. So we're in actual houses. Okay, so the streets are covered in broken beer bottles. The city police came in full-on riot gear. So we're the house I was at. We're like the first house on the block. So we see the police, their shields. I mean, full-on riot gear. They make it down to the corner, and here comes a streaker running by. The cops just threw him on the ground, face first. You could see everybody who's outside was like, oh, because this dude, like I said, the street was covered in glass, and the streaker just face down right on the street. That's what I thought of when I heard of the story. I was like, oh, not frozen, but
that sounds horrifying and so cruel. I mean, God, what happened to the good old day? Like, usually it used to be when you caught a streaker, you just sent them home. Like, you made them do the walk of shame. Like, go home.
Okay, so this was after 9 o'clock at night. Everyone had started drinking before 9. This has been 12 hours of this huge party. There was a dumpster on fire. There was a car on fire. The rich neighborhood was like right next to the college. Somebody put a blow-up doll in the middle of the street in the rich neighborhood, and I think that was like the breaking point. That's like,
that was
when the mayhem was contained to the college. Like, okay, because they had bike cops all day running around making sure that people weren't getting too crazy. But like I said, there was a dumpster on fire. There was some dude. Okay, you know, at a car dealership, and they have like gigantic balloons because they're like hang up there.
Inflatable.
No, like a balloon, but just like it's not like a normal balloon is, like this big, but this is like huge because it's up in the air at a car dealership.
Yeah.
We're on the porch of this house, and I don't know, this dude just comes over, and this is not even this wasn't a college kid. This was a grown-ass, middle-aged man who must have just lived in the area, and he's plastered. He got this balloon from the car dealership. I don't know how, but he got it.
Okay.
And he's going, I have the biggest balloon in the world. And he kept talking about this balloon. The police drive by, and the police go, where'd you get the balloon? The dude puts it down, starts to walk away. The cops left. He comes back. He's still talking about his giant balloon, right? Somehow the balloon popped. How we didn't hear it popped, I don't really know. Then this guy pulls a beer out of his coat, opens it. It's foamy because it's been in his coat. It's all shaken up. The thing goes all over the place. And the guy's like, I have the foamiest beer in the world. Like,
I mean, this sounds pretty entertaining. I'm not even gonna lie. That sounds like a great night. to watch people. Like, I've had great
Yes.
times watching the insanity, and my thing is, as long as I am not a part of it, I am fabulously entertained by it. Like, it's the best.
Oh yeah.
Not even gonna lie, some of the best nights I've had are just being spectators. I watched a guy drunk drive hit a pole. He hit the pole on one side of the road, drove all the way onto the other side, hit a gas station pump,
Oh my God.
drove through the pump and hit the gas station. Then he got out of the car, jumped over one of the other untouched pumps, decided to climb up on that. And when he decided that wasn't tall enough for his insanity, I genuinely don't know what he was thinking. He then ran back across the other side of the street and climbed up one of the wooden poles, those big old wood, climbed up that, where he proceeded to stay while the cops stood around for like a good half hour trying to decide who was taking him to jail, because
Yeah.
the way the road is set up, one side's one county and the other, it's literally
Oh.
one lane, it's one county, and the other, it's a 2-lane road. The other lane is the other county. And since he had committed crimes on both
Both.
sides, they couldn't decide who was taking him to jail. It was the best thing I've ever watched
Yeah.
on a Friday night. I went up to the store to get beer. I stayed for the show. I
Yep.
watched him hit the pole and was like, okay, where is he going to go? And then I watched him come over to the gas station. I was like, okay, now what's he going to do? Jumped out. I was like, oh, he's going to run. This is going to be great. Like, it's going to be some PD type stuff, you know? I miss that show. I miss it so much. It absolutely would have been on the air if it
Yeah.
was still around. That's one of the reasons that Florida stopped participating, because we had some of the most entertaining criminals.
But see, Florida still, though, the reason you hear so many Florida man stories is because Florida, the way that they publish their crime data, most places don't give out that much data, whereas Florida does. So these crazy people exist in the other states. The other states just don't publicize it.
Well, they usually are focused more on their bigger, more violent crimes. And
Yeah.
we do have some of those, but for the most part, not as many, I don't think, or at least not as publicized. So yeah, you get these more and not to mention, like, these people, a lot of this stuff is people on here on vacation. So
Yeah.
these people are drunk or high or something. So they're not even Floridians. They're just
Yeah.
called Florida man or Florida woman because they're in, like, that
They're in
story.
Florida when they get arrested. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was a story a few years ago, and it was a woman in Orlando. She had jumped on a couple of cars, stripped down naked, and decided to hold up traffic while dancing on top of a fourth car while butt naked. And she did it in front of the police, given zero care whatsoever. And everyone published it as Florida woman gone wild. Florida woman holds up traffic. And it went like nationwide. I heard
Yeah.
from people in other states talking about, oh, did you hear? Yeah, I heard about it. You guys want to know something else? She was here for 7 days from Minnesota. Yeah, she ain't a Florida woman. She was here for 7 days.
She was on vacation, let loose.
I mean, most of the time these people are like, every spring break we hear about how, people in Florida, on Florida beaches, they don't live here.
Those are the tourists.
I can guarantee you no person that lives in Florida is anywhere near a beach during spring break. Let me rephrase that. Anyone over the age of 30 is not going to the beach anywhere near spring break. So I can promise you right now, they are not Floridians.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. If you hear the words beach and spring break in Florida, they ain't from Florida, homie. They are here for like a week or two. They just happen to be in Florida when they're committing their crimes.
Yep.
I mean,
because they're on spring break, they're drinking like, a year's worth of alcohol in 7 days. So.
Well, I want to put something into perspective. Tampa, Florida has Busch Gardens theme park, right? It's a theme park mainly for roller coasters and animal exhibits. It's essentially like a real nice zoo without the cages. They're just, they have habitats. Now, they had alligators behind a 6-foot fence in underneath a roller coaster for close to over 10 years, I'd say. Never had a problem with them. Never had an issue with people jumping the fences. Never had an issue with people thinking of jumping the fence. Just wasn't anything anyone was doing, because again, if you live in Florida, gators aren't something you're really jumping into their habitat to hang out with. Yeah, you can go swimming with them, but go to the river if that's what you want. You don't break into a theme park exhibit for that. That's a charge. No one's that dumb. Lord behold, a couple of years back, they had to redo the fence. Why? Because someone was here on vacation and decided to jump the fence because he dropped his hat on the roller coaster near the alligators, and he thought he could go and get it. And then not even a week after that fence was placed, they made the fence 8 feet, thinking, oh, that'll, and they added barbed wire, thinking, oh, that'll do it. No. A week after that was finished, they had another idiot jump the fence to go in there, this time only to hang out with the alligators. You want to guess where he was from? I'll give you one hint. It wasn't Florida. He didn't live here. So that's the kind of thing.
So that's why he didn't know that you could just go to the river to hang out with some alligators. He thought that was his chance.
All you have to do is talk to anyone who lives here for longer than a year, and they can give you great advice on where to go. I mean, we literally have places called Gator Land. Go to one of those. Any one of those. SeaWorld has a place where you can go to a tube on a slide and hang out by them. Do that.
Why?
Because I don't know. It's an up close. They call it an up close exhibit. I genuinely don't know why.
I don't want to be up close to any alligators. No, thank you.
I just think of the Jaws 3D with the one in SeaWorld. That's all I ever think about. Is like, I just feel like that's a bad plan. I mean, I'm not really concerned that the gators are really trying to get it, but I'm not really pushing my luck at the same time. I know what those Jaws do. I've seen them. They're not cool.
DJ said he wanted to pet one up close. Probably did. So, you hear
can
about
do that at Gatorland. At any of the Gator parks, you can pay to get into the park, and they bring a small gator out. Yep, they bring a small gator out with his little mouth rubber band shut because you don't leave him open. Obviously, that's an insurance thing.
Yeah.
They bring him over and they go, okay, go ahead and you can take a picture with it and you can hold it. You can even hold a baby crocodile, for crying out loud. And those things are mean. Gators are pretty chill. Crocs, not as chill. But you can take pictures with them, pet them, and everything else at those places. Go to one of those places. I don't want to start hearing news stories about people getting eaten and dragged by gators because you heard someone online say, hey, go into a river.
Well, you hear other places too that people like jump the fence at zoos and stuff. Why? Well, I don't know why you'd ever think that that's a good idea. Like when there's multiple layers of fences, and you still think that like I'm gonna go hang out with a lion. No, the lion's in there for a reason.
It's like, for your safety, usually.
Yeah, if the lion was a kitty cat that's gonna curl up with you, you'd be able to walk right through the habitat, but you can't.
I mean,
you know a lot about that, DJ. Are you sure it wasn't you who broke that alligator? Do you have a confession you want to make?
I mean, I'm not even gonna be mad. Can't even be
no, because DJ's from
that.
Florida, so he knows where to go find them
without
having to jump.
He probably hears a lot of this nonsense too on a regular. I bet you probably run into a tourist every now and then. You're just looking at him going, "Oh my god." Please don't go into the wilderness. You will not survive. Things are trying to actively eat you. Florida is the Australia of America. Just don't.
you can pet alligators at a mini golf.
Oh yeah. You guys, oh yeah, okay. Congo River
Like,
mini golf places, they are well known. They are spread out around Florida. It's just a cute little mini putt-putt place. They usually have like a safari plane crash thing going on, like adventure thing. Usually really cute setups. But yeah, they have little baby gators in their little makeshift pond they bring out once a weekend or something, and they let the kids pet them and everything else. Yeah, you can pet a gator at the mini golf. Again, gators are so common in Florida. It just makes sense that you would have them at a random mini golf place. Like, I mean, you can go to another place down the road and get gator bites, fried gator bites. Make it make sense. You can take them,
like
and 5 minutes
chunks.
later, eat them. Yep.
Like
Oh yeah,
little.
gator is actually pretty good, believe it or not. It's
I
not
did have gator jerky once, but it just it's jerky, so it kind of all tastes
jerky,
the
jerky.
same,
Yeah,
right?
jerky's jerky.
Yeah. And who knows what mystery meat is inside your jerky?
No, gator meat, gator bites are bad. Yeah, there's a couple of restaurants in Florida that specialize in serving gator. Gator, how do you want it cooked? I prefer it fried and breaded, personally. That's just me.
What's the consistency of it? Is it like fish, chicken, beef? Like what consistency is gator meat?
I'd say it's usually similar to beef. It's got a similar texture to beef.
Okay.
Um, it's
Matt
not
says the
tough
best
though.
meat is in the tail.
Yeah,
He's in Louisiana.
it's the least tough on the gator. Yeah, Louisiana's good for serving gator too. I'm sure it's a big popular dish over there. It's just most people don't think. They're probably thinking beignets and things.
It
I
doesn't
don't blame
surprise
them. Those
me.
are good too. I mean, if I
Yeah.
had my choice over fried gator or a fluffy pastry with cinnamon on it or sugar on it, powdered sugar, going for the powdered sugar, obviously.
Hell yeah. It doesn't surprise me that RWK has a gallon bag of I can't talk. A gallon bag of gator in his freezer ready to fry. It doesn't surprise me.
No, that
Not from
not even close.
RWK.
That's the
Other
surprising to me
people
for
I'd be
anybody.
surprised, but
It's not that surprising to me because I have a couple of friends that go gator hunting every year. They go and get a license, and they get a gator hunting license and a python license, and they go hunting every year. I usually get those pictures.
Nine is
Definitely.
eaten snake. Dread's eaten eel. See, I'm not an adventurous eater. I
Oh, I
don't
could
eat this
probably
stuff.
tell you, Dre, that's not even the most exotic thing you've eaten. You've eaten squirrel too, and possum,
Why? Were there
redneck.
banjos in the background while you were eating it?
Yeah, we got some real redneck
Ah,
brands, and when she says mystery meat chili or stew, she means mystery meat, and it's usually you should not ask what's in it.
one of my coworkers tried to get me to eat squirrel. He brought it in, and I was like, no, nope, not doing it. Because I guess his kids wanted to eat it, so they just went outside and shot squirrels in the yard, and they ate it. And I was like, no, 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 no. I draw the line. I can't. I cannot even a bite to see what it tasted like. No.
There's a lot of things people have eaten over the years. I'm like, I can't do it. When it comes to meat, for the most part, I'll try just about anything, only because I don't know. I like. I prefer to have. I know this is gonna bite me in the ass. I don't want to say it.
You're gonna soundbite this one.
I'm a carnivore. I prefer carnivore things, so I'll try just about anything. I've even had frog legs. That was gross. That is way too much for me. That I can't do.
Okay, what's the texture of frog legs?
Weird.
Are they like
Honestly, there's not a lot of meat on
like
them, so I don't even see the
oh
point in dealing with it.
ugh.
It just doesn't. I'm that person when I'm eating something like that. The first thing that goes through my mind is cleaning it to eat it in the first place, because once you learn how to clean one animal, essentially any animal's easier to clean after that. Not that you necessarily, cleaning everything's the same. It's just easier once you know how to clean one thing. And I can't fathom the idea of cleaning frog legs to cook and eat them when there's next to no meat on them. It's not even, there's no real point. I mean, it's kind of like why I wouldn't eat a squirrel on purpose. I'm not cleaning that. That is such a long waste of my time for such a little payoff. No, thank you. Now you show me a boar or a deer or something larger. That's worth my time. I'm going to get like at least a couple of meals out of it. If I'm putting my arms elbow deep in something, I want a couple of meals from it. It's not a great time for me. Just because I can doesn't mean I like it. So
the only hunting I do is the grocery store. I'm not hunting anything. I'm not cleaning anything. When I was a kid, I used to go fishing with my dad, and then we'd come back, and he would like always show me how to clean the fish. Yeah, I stood there and watched. I wasn't doing it. Hell no. No.
it's
Yeah, I'm a Perry. Chicken breast in the supermarket's fine for me. Yep.
I mean, I don't hunt anymore, so I don't clean anything anymore. And to be quite honest, I probably would never clean a fish again.
Yeah.
It takes way too much time in my opinion, and I usually mess it up. So I'd rather not. So, I absolutely agree. I would rather buy it from the grocery store. But as we've discovered in the past with some of my other, pointless skills and hobbies and activities, my mom's one of those people that think you should know how to do just about everything because God forbid you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and you need to do it or, the world ends.
Nope, not for me. Nope.
Oh, you're gonna get some deer jerky one day.
I love jerky. Okay. I have no interest. If you were to be like, I don't even know how you prepare deer. When I was a kid, I went to my friend's house with like deer in some sort of stew, but I don't really like stew, so why would I like it? I don't have any interest in eating a lot of what I'm going to call weird animals, but I love jerky, and I'm totally willing to eat weird animal jerky.
I'm so down to eat random animals. I would absolutely. This is gonna sound. I don't know. Take it how you want it. I've owned horses. I would eat a horse. I would try it because why not? If somebody else is doing it and it's already done, me eating it or not eating it is not going to save its life. So I'm gonna eat it if it's already cooked in front of me.
We know in a lot of other countries they eat a much wider variety of animals than we here.
Yeah. And there's animals we eat here I won't eat. There's a few types of seafood I won't eat just because it's not my forte. The idea of it. Lobster. I can't stand lobster. I refuse to eat lobster. Don't care for it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
But
we used to vacation in Maine, and my parents, my brother, they love lobster. So thank God they found a place that like they could go and order the lobster. And like you're sitting on the pier. Well, they had a little tiny shack where you could get like hot dogs and French fries. So I would always like they go get their lobster, I go stand in the line, and I go get hot dog and French fries. Because I'm not eating lobster.
Oh, I'd absolutely eat rabbit. I'd absolutely eat rabbit.
If there's an apocalypse that happens, I have it planned out, right? Because there's people who are going to fight back, and there's people who are going to go out and be the hunters and gatherers. I'm just going to lay down in my bed and just wait to die. That's what my plan is.
No, you know what?
I'm not eating rabbit pie. I'm not going out doing things.
I will hunt for you, and I will clean the meat. You have to grow the vegetables and stuff because Lord knows if we're waiting on me to cook them, we're just going to be eating nothing but meat forever. So if you can keep some, I don't even care if it's just carrots and corn. Oh, potatoes. Definitely need potatoes.
Oh yeah, potatoes. Hell yeah.
You do that. I'll take
Okay.
care of the hunting part.
Sounds good.
I'll even take care of the gathering part. I'll even get rid of berries and things. And I'll buy wild seasonings and mushrooms. I just need you to grow things on purpose.
Okay.
I can't do that part. I kill a lot of things. And to answer the question, RWK, I do not eat oysters.
Me neither.
I don't like the texture. I don't mind fried oyster, but I'm not a fan of oyster in general. It's not something I would eat, and quite frankly, because of what its natural job in the water world, I feel it's the risk is too much for the reward payoff. I mean, you have to be really careful with oysters. There's only certain times of the year you should only eat them. I think you should be close to water so they're fresher, because flesh-eating disease that's a thing they have. Now, I don't do oysters.
What do you mean I can't lay down and die? That's my whole plan. That's my entire apocalypse plan right there. I'm not built for this stuff. I'm built to lay down and die.
Well, listen, on the bright side, after a little while of not as many people hunting animals as they do right now, it'll be a lot easier to hunt them.
True.
There's a reason we have deer seasons in places. I honestly don't even know how long ago. I know it was probably close to 20 years ago at this point. I believe it was Michigan that decided not to do a deer hunting season one year. They just I know it was a state up north. I just can't remember which one. I want to say it was Michigan, but I could possibly be wrong. They decided not to do deer hunting season because they wanted the deer population to go up, and they were having an issue with it declining too much. So they just wanted to give them a season to, go back up. Well, their plan worked. Population soared. Unfortunately, population soared too much. And the environment was not able to provide for all of them. So they ended up with a ton of deer starving to death, which is a much slower, much more
which is horrible.
death. Yeah, it's absolutely disturbing. And they had an outbreak on viruses and things because there were so many of them living so close together. Instead of the usual one gets sick and just kind of wander off, even when they wander off to a whole nother group of deer. So you've now got, instead of just having your 50 that might get sick and whatever, now you've got a couple hundred.
Yeah.
So after that one season, okay. And they actually opened hunting season like 6 months early because of that reason, because they were having issues with sick deer and starving deer wandering onto properties and all kinds of craziness. So, I mean, you have to eat meat or things that get a little carried away with population.
Yeah, because we have a lot of deer around here. Even with hunting season, we still have a lot. And there's a lot of vehicle accidents that happen.
Yeah, that is true. There were a ton of vehicle accidents. I do remember hearing about that. In fact, one of my friends hit one with his car. Did not fare well for the car. He had a ground effects kit, and it was a fiberglass hood. It crushed the car. I mean, he's lucky the dang thing didn't go through to the window, because he was driving a little sports car. Yeah, his car did not fare well.
Perry hit a deer last year in my car.
Ooh.
Luckily though, I mean, he was okay, and it wasn't a full-on hit. So my hood is like dented, but it's got so many miles on it, because he was like, let's get a new hood, and there's so many miles. I was like, I don't even care. I don't want to spend the money on it. Like, I'll live with the dented hood. It's not dented to the point that it's like causing problems or anything. Like, whatever, who cares?
I can understand that. I can understand that.
Yeah, already on the hood, tie down and keep heading home.
I mean, my friend did that. he was like, well, I mean, it's already dead, so why not just, take it home? That's what he did. Threw it on the back and drove off. I mean, he's lucky that he actually killed the thing, because if he had only just stunned it and knocked it
Yes.
out, that would have
God.
been bad. Again, little sports car. Bears are a little bigger than that.
Yeah. I never realized how big moose are. So when you're
Oh,
driving on the road, even if you have like an SUV, like all you see is legs. The body of the moose is taller than your car. It's crazy.
I honestly can't even imagine what that would feel like, to walk out and see one destroying my
Yeah.
vehicle. Like, how would you even? There's nothing you can do, because moose are big enough. Like a lot of animals, once they reach a certain size, they know they're big. They
Yeah.
don't care. If they don't want to do something, they're not doing it. Ask anyone that owns a horse. They don't care. If they don't want to do it, they're not doing it. And I'm assuming moose are the exact
Yeah.
same way, because, I mean, God, can you imagine walking out to and just like hanging out, standing on top of your car, and you're just like, I gotta go to work, dude. I need you to get off. Is that a reasonable excuse not to go to work that day? What do the schools do about that? Can you call your kid's school and be like, they aren't coming in today because we got a moose outside?
If you live in a place like that, they're probably just like, okay, we understand because they've probably been there before. We watched a video. I don't know what country it was from. Um, an elephant was in the road, so the elephant was like destroying this one guy's car because the little thing was like, imagine telling this to your insurance company. And it is the elephant like tried to sit on his car and he was trying to get away and the elephant's like ripping the bumper off. And I was like, can you imagine that you're trying to live your life and you get attacked by a freaking elephant?
I was thinking about that during the last hurricane, because during the last hurricane, a couple of idiots obviously didn't listen to anything anybody told them and decided to go out during the hurricane.
Yep.
And of course, like a normal thing happens, trees fell on their cars, and a couple of them, one person had the stoplights actually fall on their car.
Ooh.
Now, I never thought about how heavy those things are. Now,
Yep.
because if you think about it, if you look at them, they look big, but they don't look that big when you're looking at it. They're huge next to just a car. And imagine trying to explain that
They're a
one
little
to
over
your
3 feet
insurance
tall.
company.
Yep.
Like, imagine telling them, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is considered a nature thing or if this is a county issue, but yeah, lights fell on my car. Traffic lights. Like, I can only imagine being the person working at the insurance company getting that call. Like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
How high are you? What did you take, man?
Yeah.
What are you on? I need to know. Because a light? Really? That's a bit odd to. But then again, I mean, they probably are used to hearing it by now at
Yeah.
this point. Like, you drove into a house? Say what now? And I know my brother's insurance guy kind of got quite a bit with my brother. My brother parked his car on top of a tree one time, perfectly on top of the tree. It was a little Mustang. He had a Mustang, and he's an idiot. Not a great driver at all times. I like to make fun of him. He'd be a great demolition driver, perfect at it. Uh, he took a corner too fast and knocked a palm tree complete. Palm trees don't have deep root systems. They're
Okay.
very shallow. They put out very shallow roots, so they're easy enough to knock over. Well, he knocked it over, and his car was parked right on top of it perfectly. So that was a fun call. Then another time he parked it in a ditch. Yeah, with water in the ditch. So, I mean, I've had some great times. great times with him. Like I said, his insurance adjuster has probably heard it all. So if it was him getting those calls, he'd probably just think it was another day.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's you again.
Like, oh, it's this guy again. Yeah. That's why he's not allowed to teach his own kids to drive now. Let that be a lesson, folks. You
Makes
get into
sense.
too many accidents and drive too ridiculous. You won't even be allowed to teach your own kids to drive someday. Auntie's gonna do that because God knows we do not need another one of him riding on the road. At least he doesn't hit other people. I mean, there's that. He's only
True.
hitting inanimate objects that aren't
Yes.
houses. So I mean,
Yeah.
by all means, bro, keep it
Keep
up.
going to trees and ditches.
Can't even argue with that. I do not get in the car with my brother anymore, Cougar Man, if that answers your question, Milf. I do not get I have not stepped foot in the car with my brother since we were teenagers. For that reason. I don't like his driving.
You don't want to be in the ditch.
No, Florida doesn't have many hills, but we do have a few. And they're usually very steep at one direction or another. There usually is one area that's usually really steep. My brother used to like to floor it over that area so that way his car would actually gain a little air for a few seconds before it popped back down on the ground. So Grand Theft Auto ain't got shit on him.
Yeah.
Fast and Furious who?
Maybe he's the inspiration for GTA 6.
It could, you know, knowing him, it could be. Oh God. And that is exactly why his wife will not let him have fast cars anymore. I can't blame her. Although I don't think it's any better with him driving a truck now.
So you gotta like, you know how when you work for companies, they can like set a maximum speed limit. She's got like set the maximum speed limit in his car to 30.
Put a govern on his car so he can't go past 50.
Yeah.
Who cares if the speed limit's 60? You ain't doing it. No, he's not. But I think Vin Diesel gets his inspiration from my brother's driving skills. I mean, yeah, and yes, Dreadpool, my sister. Yes, to answer the question about my sister Dreadpool, I don't let her drive me either. I don't care if it is her car. I drive. She has the opposite problem of my brother. My brother has a heavy foot and likes to take turns at fast speeds. One of my sisters barely does the speed limit and drives like she's like 100 years old and is completely unsure of everything. Like she will wait and wait and wait until she has a real big opening to like pull out. You know, and grateful in some points because I appreciate she doesn't just pull out in front of a car when it's 2 inches away from us. But at the same
just
time,
as dangerous as the person who's speeding, though. Just as dangerous.
And hence why she knows so well now. She will literally, when she's driving me somewhere, she'll come over and she'll get out of the car and hand me her keys and go, okay, you can drive. Because I'm like, I love you, but you make me so nervous. Listen, if any of my car accidents were my fault, that'd be one thing. None of them have been my fault. I don't trust anybody else. So I damn sure don't trust people pulling up behind you when you're not even doing the speed limit.
Yeah.
Especially since most people, if you're doing 10 over the speed limit, you're still not going fast enough.
Yeah, you're too slow. Get in the right lane.
Wait, listen, I was on the highway the other day and had to drive a little far. And I was mad because the speed limit was 55 and people were doing 45. I was like, if you don't get your giant piece of shit out of my way, I'm going to shove my car up your car's ass. Yeah, how's that for a good time? My lights are so good, I can see up above the butthole. I guarantee you my car would make a great one.
What the heck is the UHV button? Like an ejector seat button? What the? nitrous oxide button?
Mm, I don't know. That I don't know I don't know what that is. That way my car goes faster when I hit this button, because I got one of those buttons too. It's not NOS, but mine has the sport mode, so I can shift for, I don't know, racing or something. I Listen, I didn't buy my car so I could race it. Not interested in that. Have been interested in that since the 20s.
Wait, I have a UHV button? I have no clue what you're talking about. I do have the sport mode button on my car, though.
That might be what it is. It might be the.
Is that what you're talking about? The sport mode button that's in the middle there?
That might be it. I'm gonna feel really dumb if it's something like 4-wheel drive, because that would be a 4x4 button, I would think. I mean, that's what it says in my mom's Jeep.
I mean, me and DJ, we used to go crazy. We would drive around the mall at 5 miles an hour to walk our Pokemon. Yeah. Yeah, so we used to drink when we played Pokemon. We went to this other town to play Pokemon. So like it's dark. It's gotta be, I don't even remember what time it was, like 10, 11 at night. And we're getting ready to leave. So I want to go back to the highway, but I missed the turn. Or I didn't miss the turn. I turned one block too early. So then the side road, I'm like, okay, this isn't it. This isn't bringing us to the highway. So there was a business, and it's closed because it's late at night. And you know how business, a lot of times there's two driveways. So I pull in one, and I loop around and come out the other. As I'm doing that, the cop is going down the road. The cop slams on his brake, turns around, pulls us over. The cop comes over, is like, what are you doing? I was like, we're playing Pokemon. I'm trying to get back on the highway to go home. And he's like, oh, well, were you over at this street and that street? And I was like, I don't know where that is. I was like, is that where that abnormally bright light is over there? He's like, no, not there. And he's like, hold on a minute. So he goes back to his car, doing whatever he's doing. He comes back and he's like, all right, you guys can go. Tells us how to get back on the highway. And he goes, you guys don't look like you're stabbing anybody. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? Apparently somebody got stabbed close to wherever we turned around. So the guy thought we did it, but it was just the most bizarre interaction. Yeah, he's just like, oh, you don't look like you're stabbing people. I'm thinking, no, we're just catching Pokemon.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Oh my god. Yeah, Cougar Man, I do play some racing games. One of my favorite racing games would be Need for Speed Underground. The soundtrack on that thing, pure bliss for any 2000s baby. Nothing better than listening to Little John, the Switchy Lanes. Oh god, I love that game. That game was amazing. And I think somebody asked about movies earlier. Did I watch any movies this week? I did not watch any movies this week. No, I did not watch any movies this week. I am excited about Final Destination Bloodlines, though. That comes out next month.
Yeah, that'll be good. Stabbing? No, we're just kidnapping digital animals. Imagine if I'd said that to the cop.
That would be funny. That would have been great. Not even gonna lie, that'd be an even better story. So I told him we were still in digital animals after that, and then I had to show him what happened.
Yeah. I gotta ask Perry later to tell me more about this homeless-looking dude with the midget dog popping out of the car. I don't remember him ever telling me this. I gotta know more.
Great.
Yeah, I didn't watch movies this week. I watched a show called The Mole. I guess they rebooted in, I think it was 2021, 2022. They rebooted it, so I watched season 1 of The Mole. So it's a reality competition where you're doing different, I forget what they call them, different tasks to earn more money. Somebody is the mole, and you have to try to figure out who the mole is. So the mole is trying to sabotage what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept. one of the ladies who I totally thought was the mole. No, she just was that shitty.
Oh, it's good. I'm not even gonna lie. I would probably be so excited if somebody was driving around acting like Ace Ventura.
I'm picturing like is the dude driving down the road and like his head's out the car and his little dog's head is at the passenger side. And they're both just sticking their head out.
I need videos. Is this gonna be as epic as the guy standing on the corner with the knife? Because this is just amazing. By the way, I haven't asked in a while. Is the guy still on the corner with the knife, or have we moved on to something new? Because it's
You
a
know,
new season.
the last time I heard people talk about him, what was he? I think he was. I think he was still the Grim Reaper. He normally is either the Grim Reaper. Sometimes he wears a scream mask. Those are the two most common things that he dresses up as.
Yeah.
But he does have other costumes that he wears. Yeah. And you can always tell when there's somebody new that they get like all weirded out, and everyone else is like, "Oh no, it's just that dude. He's been doing it forever. He's harmless."
I might send you a Leatherface costume and a hatchet so you can hand it to her. Hey, here you go, new costume, buddy.
Yeah.
I think that sounds amazing. And I'm sad we don't have a guy like that. We have what we call the sign guy, or he's the mayor, and he dresses like he's stuck in an 80s disco club. It's amazing, and he stands out there and jams out.
Nice.
It's great. Good times. That's sad we haven't seen him in a while, but he's back. He's back, folks.
Yeah, I don't know how often this guy goes out because now that it's cold, you know, how often is he out there over winter? But I forgot he also dresses as the Joker because Target's in the mall over there. So he's the Joker riding around motorized carts. So yeah, Frank sees him a lot because he's over by where Frank lives. So he sees him all the time.
That's
I only
awesome.
see him occasionally.
It's so awesome. I'm gonna need like weekly videos of this guy doing random things. Yeah. I have a feeling watching him in a motorized cart in Target, it's probably similar to seeing that woman that was drinking like a bottle of wine or something driving around a Walmart. That was amazing. And I need him to do something similar to that. I don't even care what he's drinking. Let him drink a bottle of water for all I care. I just want to see him doing something. Having a great time.
We'll have to tell Frank that he's got to get some photos next time he sees him. Take some video.
Nah, Dreadful, he's back. He's over down the road now. Saw him the other day, man. You're wrong. He's not retired anymore. The governor has retired. That's who you're thinking of. The governor. He retired. Nobody's seen him in a club in a while. We have another guy called the governor. He likes to go into the club wearing women's lingerie. He's not a trans. He's not a cross-dresser. He just enjoys wearing cheap women's lingerie in the club and dancing on a go-go dance stage.
So he doesn't have clothes over it. Like, that's just his entire outfit.
That is his whole outfit. He'll wear
He wants to feel sexy.
Teddy and some underwear, like a thong or something. Yep. Nope. He just wants to. It's a humiliation kink for him. Him and his girlfriends, well, his ex-girlfriend, they started doing it years ago. It's a humiliation kink for him. Whatever. For the most part, he's a pretty nice guy. Only when he gets really drunk does he ever act up. But again, that's the guy that retired, Dread. Not the mayor. The mayor is back. I don't know if he had another job that wasn't dancing on the corner with the sign, twirling it around, but he's back. Guess he's back. Back again.
He's got to be a macho man. Macho man.
He is the nicest guy, and it is so funny. So funny because you wouldn't think it. Because when the governor would go into the clubs, he wears like a 3-piece suit. I don't know what his job is, but he has like a extremely stressful, high-paying job that he has to wear a suit for. So yeah, when he goes in and out of the club, he's wearing this 3-piece nice suit. And then you see him in the club, and it's the cheapest lingerie you'll ever see as a woman. It's like, oh. One time I told him, I was like, if you go go and put a little money into it. It'd be a little more comfortable for you. That lace won't chafe your ass as much. Just saying, cheap lace chafes your ass quicker.
Okay, so you don't want the attorney who is going to smash a plate over someone's head. What if you go to hire an attorney and while you're still trying to decide what to do, you go to the club and you see him dancing on stage in women's lingerie? Does that affect whether you want to hire him or not?
No, but I'm gonna have an issue if it's cheap lingerie.
Okay.
Because that's just bad decision-making skills. Like, if you're gonna wear lingerie, that's fine, but, like, good lingerie has good lace, and good lace is not uncomfortable to wear for the most part, and it doesn't chafe your balls.
And if he's a lawyer, he should be able to afford it.
Exactly. And if he can't, where's your money going, bro? And again, I got questions about your life-making choices, and are you any good at making choices? And if not, I don't need that as a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them wearing lingerie. Just don't wear cheap shit. That's where I have it's like wearing a bad costume in front of me. I got a problem with that. For the most part, I don't care what your costume is. I'm going to be insulted if it's a badly made one, though.
Yep.
Unless you made it yourself, in which case, then I will excuse it being badly made because you at least tried.
Yep.
No, if you, let's say you go to Spirit Halloween and you come to me with a gypsy costume, yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I know for a fact those costumes run about $60 to $80, and they are crap that dissolve in the wash. And I have multiple gypsy costumes you could have worn. That's so insulting.
Well, I hope your attorney's not asking you to borrow a gypsy costume. Although maybe he would because he knows quality, and that's why he's asking you.
I mean, yeah, if they came to me and asked me for any costume, I'd be okay with it. It's just, yeah, bad costumes I'd have an issue with. I mean, listen, I've made costumes for people, and while I'll do the job, I lose a lot of respect for you in the process because these are costumes that I just can't fathom the idea of why you'd want to wear something like that. We've discussed before. I made a Cenobite Hellraiser costume. Why would you do that in Florida?
What?
And then why would you cover all the breathing holes in the thing?
Did you say a Cenobite Hellraiser costume? What is that?
It's from the movie Hellraiser. It's one of the monsters are called Cenobites.
Oh, I totally was thinking that Cenobites was like
cinnamon bites.
Yeah. Yeah, so like you go to Auntie Annie's at the mall and you get some Cinnabites or something. And I was thinking it was some weird mashup that you're Hellraiser, but you enjoy cinnamon sugar pretzel bites from the mall. I don't know.
I mean, no, the costumes are BDSM meets body horror to the extreme. And the costumes are really cool. Very cool.
I'd rather have the cinnamon bites from the pretzel costume.
Listen, Perry, I don't know if she wanted to smell her own fart, but all I know is the more she kept discussing with me how she was going to wear this costume, the more questions I had and the more confused I got. She wanted a whole leather, long sleeve, floor length dress. I'm sorry, what?
To death.
That was my first thought was, I'm sorry, no. What? Then there were a few holes like in the back and in the stomach area that were kind of cut out so you could see, and then there were slits and some. She wanted all of those closed off with fabric. She didn't want any openings in this. She wanted a whole one-piece dress. Okay.
No airflow?
No airflow whatsoever. But it got better. Because wait, there's more. She was going to wear a bodysuit underneath it. And tights. Why I don't know. You weren't seeing anything anyway.
Yeah.
You weren't even going to barely see her toes. So why she did all that? Needless
gonna
to
get
say,
heat stroke.
when she came to pick up the dress, we wrote a new contract specifically for her that stated we are not responsible for when the costume stretches out, because leather, if anyone has ever worked with leather or even owned leather shoes, if you get weather let, one, it stinks. That's not even the point. But two, it also reshapes to whatever it's wrapped around while it's wet and drying. So if you're wearing it while it's wet and drying, it'll conform to your body. Cool. But if you take it off while it's wet and let it dry on a hanger, it's going to stretch in funky new places because it's molding with a hanger, not a person. So yeah, she had to sign it for a couple of reasons. One, for us, any misshaping it's going to have after the fact it leaves. Then we had her sign another. We wrote in there that we were not responsible for if and when she has a heat stroke.
Yeah.
Or anything of that. Not my problem, not my fault. I don't want any part of this. This is not a situation I want to deal with. Yeah, brand new contract. Usually the contract says something along the lines of like, anything that happens after the dress leaves our doors, we are not responsible for. If any changes are made to the dress, we are not responsible. Any damage, we're not responsible. No, we had to include that I'm not responsible for any health issues you might have or get while wearing this. That is a first for me. I've never had to do that before. But yeah, leather, long sleeve leather in Florida in the summer.
Yeah.
Needless to say, she still hasn't worn the costume. It's been a year. And she has still never worn the costume.
Yeah, she probably realized what a bad idea it was.
Well, I might have been the one to ruin it for her, because she picked it up and she, of course, tried it on before she left with it. And we always tell everyone, whatever you're wearing under the costume or dress or whatever we're making, whatever you plan on wearing underneath it for that event in that day or whatever, you need to bring it when you do your last fitting before you leave. So that way we make sure everything fits and whatnot. So she had to wear her tights and her leotard underneath. And she came walking out in that, and I looked at her and said, so how are you going to pee? just out of curiosity, I was like, are those crotchless pantyhose? No. Is that a crotchless unitard? No. Is it a snap unitard? Like the snaps underneath? Is it snappy? No, it's a full one piece, no zipper, no nothing. And I went, how are you gonna pee? She's like, what do you mean? I'm gonna take it off. And I went, no, I'm gonna ask you, how are you gonna pee? Because one, if you're wearing it to a convention, if God forbid you have to go to the bathroom, those lines are long anyway. Now you've got to wait in this line. Then when you get in, you're gonna have to peel the dress off, because you're not just lifting it up to pull things down. You've got to lift it all the way off so you can take the shoulders down. You know what I mean? So now you've got to strip the dress off, strip the unitard off, then pull the tights down, and then your pants. How's that gonna go? She's like, I didn't think of that. And I went, yeah, you might want to get like a snap unitard. That way you can just snap it off and then just pull your, She's like, I'll think about it. And I was like, and just another thought, if you wear thigh highs instead of nylons or tights, you don't even have to mess with those. They also have
easy
solutions. That's another
easy
way to
solutions.
Go. They've got crotchless, all that stuff. So I mean, hey, there's that. Again, she still has it worn in it. Good for you. I'm glad you spent all that money on a dress you've never worn.
Yeah.
I guess
by the time she gets ready to wear it, she's going to gain or lose weight. It's not even going to fit her.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, when she was discussing, before we even bought the fabric to make it and everything, we had discussed multiple times. And we had tried talking her out of it by saying, listen, there's a fabric. It's a costume fabric that looks similar to pleather, and you can even get some that look similar to like vinyl, but they're essentially like a spandex. Mm-hmm. They have a whole lot of give, and they're breathable compared to leather. Maybe that's something more, and not to mention you can wash it if it's a fabric instead of, leather. Nope. Want it all as authentic as you can get it. Okay. All right. That's fine. And like, well, the saving grace would be it's got slits here for you to breathe in your, for your skin to breathe here in your armpits. It's got slits here. It's got this here, cutouts there. It won't be too bad. We can put a slit in the back of the dress so that way she gets some little airflow under there. No.
Nope, need that all covered.
No, we want all of that sealed. We want to trap everything in. We're essentially roasting or basting a turkey all day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Think how bad she would smell at the end of the day wearing that.
I have gone on record numerous times stating I would never, ever wear that dress. And I will put on anything that we make. I'll put on anything we make because I always feel like if we put the time into making it, someone should at least wear it out. It should be worn at least once. I've done that. No problem. I've looked for reasons to wear costumes because it needed to be out on a body, and Mom was a little sad that we put all that time and effort into making it and it was never out, it's never been seen. I'll wear it. That's one dress I wouldn't touch. I don't care. I'm not doing it. That's no. Ew, no. Gross, no. Ew. Ooh.
Yeah,
I'd rather use somebody else's mouthpiece. Thank you. Ugh. And I've worn disgusting costumes. It's not a good time.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I wouldn't wear that. Well, I'd die a heat stroke even if I was inside the air conditioning. I wouldn't survive, so. Oh, gotta refresh the screen. It happened again.
Oh, no. And then there. I blacked out.
Yep, that's the virtual of the little cane trying to drag us off the stage.
I'm back. Well, still not for nothing. It's almost midnight now. What up, Web Dave? What's up?
Hey, Web Dave.
Oh, guys, I think this is our cue. I'm guessing we should probably stop putzing around and get off. I guess this is our cue to leave the crowd to their own cognizance.
Yeah. It is. The internet has decided it's had enough.
I mean, I guess I should probably go spend another 5 minutes with Dreadpool before our anniversary is gone for another year.
Yep.
The horror of it all. On the bright side, being married for a long period of time is still possible, guys. You're welcome. I mean, I recommend making bad jokes and making fun of each other on a regular basis.
Yep.
It keeps the love alive. Ship the ring. Who's shipping rings?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ring? Did I get a ring? Am I getting a new ring?
Is this like the ring from the Lord of the Rings?
Someone buying me diamonds? I like diamonds. Oh, hey, Obi. Oh, I just got. Wow. You
15-hour shift. Woo.
Poor thing.
Hope you're getting ready for bed. That's a long day.
That sounds. Yeah, it sounds like a really long day on a Sunday too. Damn.
Yeah.
It's rough. What's still open this late? I don't think anything's really open by me this late, except for like McDonald's, Denny's, Waffle House. You work at a Waffle House?
Doing the 15-hour Waffle House shift.
Listen, if you're working at Waffle House, I want to see the training video they use now, because they ask people if they can fight, and I want to know if they're showing y'all brawls before. Like, this is how you hit someone with a chair the right way? That'd be amazing. Yes.
Oh, I forgot. Perry's making a joke to Milfman. AEW for wrestling, they did a pay-per-view down in Australia. They didn't ship the ring to Australia.
Oh.
So they had to borrow a ring from whatever promotions in Australia. So like all their skirting that goes around the ring that has like their logo and everything didn't even fit properly because it wasn't the same size ring that they normally use. But how do you have a pay-per-view across the country and you don't ship the ring? Like I have all the things to forget.
I didn't realize they actually shipped the rings. I thought they would send them with the crew and stuff. Like I figured it would kind of like move around with them. I mean, that's how some of the smaller groups around here do it, is they just kind of travel with their stuff. So they're not waiting on something to be shipped. In
Well,
WWE's here, so their headquarters are here. So I mean, we have a whole building for those fools. I didn't know they would ship them. That's strange. That is weird. That's very weird.
oh my God, Yobi did a 16 to 17-hour shift last night. That is insane. It is
Oh,
insane.
oh, so you got to see people on drugs. I'm sorry. They eat more on those usually. So sorry. Art festival, folks. Oh, AEW doesn't. No, that would make sense that WWE has rings in warehouses. WWE probably travels more often.
Yeah, so it makes sense
AEW,
they would have it. But I would think that you would probably charter your own airplane that brings all your stuff,
or at least a
right?
truck. I would at least get an 18
Well,
wheeler or
well,
something.
no, they went to Australia, right? So you had to ship
Yeah,
everything. But wouldn't you have your own airplane that you charter?
ship
I don't know.
it on a boat. Ship it on a boat. I don't understand. Well, no, I still stand by my statement. Put the 18 wheeler on a boat.
Yep.
Bring the boat over to Australia. I
It
still see
just,
no reason.
I mean, somebody screwed up because out of all the things that you need to have a wrestling promotion, if you forgot the little skirting that has AEW around it, I would think you could just go buy fabric and freaking get an iron-on transfer or something, right? Like I would think that you could figure out what to do, but not have the ring. I mean, there's other things you could forget that would be like, okay, it's small, whatever, we could figure it out. But the ring, I mean, if you don't have the ring and you don't have the people, those are the two things you need to have a match.
I mean, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, Yobi, I can understand why they would have to have their equipment at all times. That's a hazard. I would think that would be a liability for the insurance companies alone. I mean, think about it. You've got an unknown ring with unknown safety things done to it or not
Yeah.
done to it, and you're going to put your investments on it to do bodily harm to each other, because regardless of whether or not how you feel wrestling is fake, I know for a fact they actually hurt themselves and hurt each other on a frequent basis. So that part's not that fake, man. So it's a huge liability to have people jumping up and down on something you can't guarantee the safety of and the integrity of, because you didn't build it, you didn't buy it, you have nothing to do with it. All
Mm-hmm.
you're doing is essentially saying, yeah, we need this, and showing up on it. I mean, that's a hell of a safety liability right there. I can't even imagine being okay with that. That's so unprofessional, so messed up.
Yeah. So we're gonna blame it on MILF Man. He forgot to send the ring.
Oh my god. They did the similar thing years. They borrowed an indie ring. Your kid.
Yeah, that's the ring they had to get. Is I guess somebody from their talent knows whoever's got the indie promotion in Australia, and they borrowed a ring from them. But it was a different size. It was a smaller size than the
I
ring they normally use.
I know some guys that actually run an indie wrestling group around here. And one of the main things they had to deal with when they started was they had to get their own ring because they couldn't find any completely safe options for them if they were to go from here to here to here.
Mm-hmm.
So they just opted to get their own so that way they could take it with them, and they know the integrity behind the stage and the ring is absolutely safe for their people. I can't imagine a bunch of one of them worked to make dentures, for crying out loud. Okay, that was his expertise in college, was making dentures. And he had enough brain cells to rub together to figure out that we should buy our own ring instead of renting them. And they don't even have the same kind of money that AWE or AEW has. That's just so wow. I have to wow. That's
it's a big mistake.
They're gonna end up getting screwed by doing stupid shit like that. That's gonna get them really messed up because, like I said, that's definitely a safety liability. It's a huge liability. God, I say that as someone who's walked on stages that were literally built the night before. Oh no. That's too much.
Okay. Well, I'm going to turn into a pumpkin.
Yes.
It's almost midnight.
All right. Well, with that being said, guys, we appreciate you all. You're amazing as always. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like the video and share it to your friends.
Yes. Thank you all for hanging out.
Yes, we appreciate you. Next week, we'll be back with, I don't know, more things you should know, but probably don't think about. Yep. But with that being said, I'm Death Dealer.
And I'm Pink Piggles.
And we'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye.